Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Daddy Jason. Welcome back to 1 Year 365, and this is part 2 out of 7 part of continent mini series. And yes, this is about continent. Pretty much I will talk about continents that are existing, at least in this world, in this earth, this specific universe. I was about to say, maybe there is not in other universe. Maybe it's like different, but yeah, at least we will talk about the one that is existing here right now, right here, right now, pretty much. Part two will talk about Europe. I make like the sequence will be the smallest to the largest pretty much, and yes, Asia will be at the part seven pretty much. But I feel like that shouldn't matter that much. This one we'll talk about Europe. Still though, still questioning from the previous one about Russia. Like I was confused as well whether Russia is included in Europe or Asia, or if it's like neither of those, of it's either both of those at the same time. It's kind of confusing as well. But since um like they are actually a part of land that is in the northern Asia and the eastern Europe. I feel like that specific region, by term of continent, I feel like they should be included in either, or maybe they can just make their own continent. That's also fine. Maybe that will not go well against the original term or meaning of continent, but whatever. You cannot just have unmarked territory, like unlisted territory according to continents. I feel like that shouldn't be the case, although there's actually an Oceanian continent, I think, or Zealand, I don't know, like, yeah, like Zealandian or something like that. I kind of forgot already. It's from the previous one, pretty much like um, the area in New Zealand, and then the area of a large what is it, like a large land, but it's submerged by water. But then again, if you think about it, it's just pretty much everywhere. So yeah, like by that I mean like any water, they will eventually have to reach down somewhere in the bed, and yeah, by that itself, meaning that that's land technically. So yeah, it's kind of confusing as well. But there's that. Anyway, we'll talk about Europe. We can just start, I guess. Europe is a large peninsula, conventionally considered as a continent in its own right because of its great physical size and the weight of its history and traditions. So that's why they are continent, which is interesting because previously as well I thought that why is Europe its own continent? Isn't it like still intact with the Asian? So technically speaking of the actual meaning of continent, it seems like they still connected with Asia, but apparently not. So I guess that's why this is over here. The reason, because of the great physical size. Um, Although not really, but if you think about it, that's still still bigger than Australia in its own, which is kind of weird as well because there's not really, yeah, this one over here, like, let's see, okay, so there's not really a comparison, or things to compare between this one, the Europe and Australia. I guess it's down here somewhere, uh, down here, I think, down there somewhere, which is not seen. But all right, it seems like Europe is not as big as Australia, but apparently it is. Maybe it's just one of those what is it, like illusion kinda, just because the curvature of Earth, probably the one that makes maybe certain region a little bit looks bigger than the other ones, and then the other region looks smaller than it actually is. So maybe it's just one of those. I'm not sure. Uh, Europe is also considered a subcontinent of Eurasia, and it is located entirely in the northern hemisphere and mostly in the eastern, hemisphere, comprising the westernmost peninsulas of Eurasia. It shares the continental landmass of Afro-Eurasia, yeah, the southern part actually, with both Africa and Asia. It is bordered by the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the west, the Mediterranean Sea to the south, and Asia to the east. Europe is commonly considered to be separated from Asia by the watershed of the Ural Mountains, the Ural River, and the Caspian Sea, the Greater Caucasus, the Black Sea, and the waterways of the Turkish Straits. I think it's this one over here. The this one. There is like this lake over here, kinda. I think that kind of what makes it separating. And then this one over here as well, the southern, and then it says Ural Mountain. Ural Mountain is actually in Russia. Which is kind of interesting as well because as far as I know, I feel like the Ural Mountain is kind of towards the center or the eastern side of Russia, which is like maybe over here. I'm not sure. So yeah, probably over here. I don't know. Genuinely don't know. And then there is also Ural River, which I don't know as well. I heard about Ural Mountains, but I never heard about Ural River. So there's that. And then Caspian Sea, I don't know what that is. It's probably maybe this one part over here. I'm not sure. And then there's also Greater Caucasus, the Black Sea, and the waterways of the Turkish Straits. Yeah, it's probably one of these like this white spot over here, which is just the water body. Maybe that's what makes it look like it's separated from Asia. But yeah, still though it's still connected. Yeah, it's kind of weird as well. Like it's it's like when you what is it, it's just to make it easy, then therefore it's like that pretty much. If Europe and Asia is kind of one territory, then it will look a little bit too big, I would say. That's why it's separated for good, pretty much. So yeah, also it's kind of like a reach, pretty much. Like it's a reach in a good way as well because it's like approximation, pretty much. Like I learned about engineer sometimes, like sometimes there's numbers that are a little bit too complicated to memorize, and then we just round out that number to the upper number pretty much. So there's that. I feel like this is just the same as that, just to make it simpler. It's different continent, and that's pretty much it. Although if you think about the details, like you see the number, like the decimals in a number, you kind of think that it's actually not separated. But if you like round out everything up to the nearest whole number, then yeah, this is pretty much separated, and that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the area over here, which is 10 million. Okay, so previous one it's about 8 million, I believe. And then 3.3 million square inch, or not inch, I mean miles. And then this one is 3.9, or just barely under 4 million, which is a lot. Um, Population, we have 745 million, which is way more than the Australia. I think Australia has only like 40 million, which is kind of crazy on its own. But yeah, um yeah, like just like this pretty much. Like this one is pretty much, what is it, like 20 times, 15 times, 17 times more than the population of Australia pretty much. And then there's population density. This one's also quite, less scary as well, because as you can see, it's 72.9 per kilometer square, or 188 per square miles, pretty much. It is, meaning that one, a kilometer to the north, you will see 70 people. 70, 1 kilometer to the north and to the east, pretty much. So yeah. And then there's this one over here, GDP. I don't really care about that. And then HDI, also don't care about that. Religions also, yeah, I guess, whatever. And then demonym, which is European. Okay. Countries, we have sovereign, 44 to 50. And then de facto, we have 2 to 6. I don't know what that means by 44 to 50. Like, is it not like a is it not an actual number? Why is it there's range over there? So yeah, dependencies external. There's five and six. Again, like why is it like there's like multiple choices, which is kind of like a kind of weird on its own. But yeah, language most common first language, which is Russian, German, French, Italian, English, Spanish, Polish, or Polish. I mean not police. I mean Polish. Ukrainian, Romanian, Dutch, Serbo, Croatian, and then Turkish as well. See here, the Russian is actually included in Europe. Europe. So again, it's super confusing in my opinion. But yeah. Um, well, maybe it's just the language, not the actual land. Can also happen like that. So there's that. Anyway, time zones we have UTC -1 to UTC +5. So that's 6 hours of time zones. It's interesting because Australia, I think Australia has like uh, 2 hours apart, but it is like one of them is separated at 1.5 hour, and then the remaining is like half an hour. So like I think it's still 2 hours time zone span as well. Internet TLD, which is .eu, European Union. Oh, so that's what EU means. EU means European Union. Oh, I thought EU is just because it's Europe. Like if you see the word Europe, the first two letters is EU, but like so you might think that it's EU, the first two letters of Europe, but no, apparently not. It's EU because of European Union. So yeah, that's that's what EU means, European Union, not necessarily because of the first two letters of Europe. Okay, that's actually things that I just learned now, which is kind of interesting, because at this you know since the past I always thought that EU means Europe, but apparently not. EU means EU, European Union. um, Anyway, larger cities we have Moscow, Paris, London, Istanbul, Madrid, St. Petersburg, Milan, Barcelona, Berlin, and Rome. I know most of these. Moscow, I know. Paris, I know. London, yeah. Istanbul, yeah. Madrid, not really. St. Petersburg, yeah. This is pretty much leaning red in the Russia. And then Milan, I also don't know. Barcelona, don't know. Berlin, it's in Germany, I believe, and then Rome as well. I actually don't know where Rome is, so yeah. UNM49 code, okay. Europe world, yeah. Whatever, don't know what that means. Europe covers about 10.18 million kilometers or 3.93 million square miles, or 2% of Earth's surface. 6.8% of land area. That's actually interesting. So, what was Australia then? Australia is probably 1% or something. I'm not sure, making it the second smallest continent. Yeah, like I said, I do this in the sequence of the smallest to the largest, pretty much, continent using the seven continent model. Yeah, the one that we're actually using right now, which is I believe the sequence was supposed to be like Australia, Europe, South America, I think, uh, or Antarctica actually. And then after that, there is North America, Africa. Oh no, actually Africa first, North America, and then maybe South America is after. I actually forgot already, but yeah, whatever. And then the last one is Asia, which is the largest one. Okay. Politically, Europe is divided into about 50 sovereign states. Yeah, like why is it about? Which is kind of interesting. Like, why didn't they make it like actual number? So yeah, is it because of the current thing that's going on with there up there in the north? I'm not sure, but maybe I'm not sure as well. Um, Okay, of which Russia is the largest and most populous, spanning 39% of the continent and comprising 50% of its population. Europe had a total population of about 745 million, about 10% of the world population. Oh, okay, so pause first. Okay, so this one says that Europe covers 10 million kilometers. However, this includes Russia being part of the Europe as well, which is kind of interesting, meaning that if Russia is not included in Europe, is it possible that Australia is actually bigger than Europe? Which, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense now. So yeah, I wonder if that's the case or not. Which is again, I don't know anything about. 10% of the world population in 2021. Okay, so 10% of the world is in, what is it? Europe. Okay, that's interesting as well. I think in Australia it's like 40 millions, pretty much, 40 out of 800. That is like, what, one out of 20, meaning that, if Europe is 10%, then Australia is divided by 20. That's half percent, which is, like a, yeah, like minimum. So yeah, I can only assume though that Asia will be the largest population as well. That kinda is not surprising if you think about it, because there is China, there is India, there is Indonesia as well, there is Philippines. So yeah, those countries are the one that has massive amount of people or population. Yeah, I know in the North America there is U.S. as well, but it's like one versus many of them. So I feel like Asia will have the most population, but we'll see. But still, though, U.S. is probably the one that has, they have a lot of people, but also they have a lot of land to spare as well, meaning that it's not gonna be cluttered. We'll see about that pretty much in the part 6 and part 7. I think we'll see about this one, the amount of people, like the density, pretty much. Yeah, the amount of people in certain area, pretty much. So yeah, there's that. um okay, there is so many culture here, just I don't really want to talk about at the time. Okay, here we go. There's this one: first map of the world according to Anaximander, 6th century BC. Okay, so this is what they thought, the actual thing before everything. So yeah, there's Europe there, there's ocean, there's Asia there, and then there's Libya. I think that makes up the, what is it, the Africa, I think. But yeah, okay. Also, I don't know if this is actually true or not. It's just according to Anaximander. Maybe it's just one of those people that, like old people, having theory about something pretty much, and then it got debunked by, the, what is it, like the most recent information for that, I think. But yeah, anyway, there's that. Okay, this is also just, I guess it's just a name, pretty much like history of name. Definition, I don't know why there is a definitions, but okay. Puffin Bay. I don't know what this. This is just the. Oh yeah, this is the map of Europe, pretty much. Okay, interesting. There's Portugal, Spain, Andorra, France, UK as well. What is that? United Kingdom, IOM. I don't know what that is. Ireland, and then there's Iceland over there. Greenland as well. Okay, Finland, Norway, Sweden. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Okay, where is Greek actually? I kind of want to know where is Greece. Oh, okay, here we go. There's that. So this is Greece. Okay, interesting. And then there's Turkey as well, Ukraine, and then Russia. I don't know if they are, part of Europe as well or not, or maybe they are part of, like Asia. I'm not sure, pretty much. Let's see. Blue states which straddle the border between Europe and Asia. Green countries not geographically in Europe but closely associated with the continent. Oh, I see. So Greenland is actually not Europe. But what is it then? Yeah, it's it's one of those things that really making me confused. So yeah, it's a little bit, like I don't know, like my brain cannot handle that logic sense pretty much, which is again, maybe it's just me, but yeah. What else here? If there is anything, early history, okay. Depiction of Europa Regina, okay. Oh, so this is like the island, but it kind of, like they're making rich pretty much, so that this looks like a lady pretty much, or queen. Okay, whereas again, like it's pretty much just a rich. And there's this one modern definition. Okay, and then there's this one as well. But yeah, yada yada. I think this is just history. Not gonna mention. Oh, there's also more history over here. Okay. Geography. Let's see here. Europe makes up the western fifth of the Eurasian land mass. It has a higher ratio of coast to land mass than any other continent or subcontinent. Oh, yeah, it makes sense as well because as you can see, it's like there's so many cluster of island, meaning that those islands will have coast, and it's just one of those paradox, I guess, that the volume of the volume of a region is finite, but the length of their coastline is infinite, which is like it becomes a paradox in its own because it has the volume, but it doesn't really have the length. So yeah, there's that. Um, its maritime borders consist of the Arctic Ocean, which is the northern ocean. To the north, yeah, like I said, Atlantic Ocean to the west, and the Mediterranean, Black and Caspian Seas to the south. Okay. Land relief in Europe shows great variation within relatively small areas. The southern regions are most mountainous. Okay, that's interesting. While moving north, the terrain descends from the high. Oh, okay, so so the southern is the highest land point pretty much, and then if you go north, you're just like going down the slope, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, like if you drop a ball, like if you're a titan and then you drop a ball on Earth on top of southern Europe, I think it will actually roll to the north, which is I guess that's kind of horrifying if you really imagine that, but it's also kind of interesting in its own. So yeah. Um, and then what else? The hilly uplands. Okay, low northern plains. Okay, there's plains apparently. Um, as for the weather, though, I feel like Europe weather is like the four weather one, meaning that there can be summer, spring, well, spring, summer, and then fall, and then winter, which is I guess it's kind of normal, I would say. Climate, yeah, yeah. Well, I just literally talk about that anyway, so yeah. I feel like there's four seasons, and that's pretty much it. Maybe there's not, like in the equatorial line. I kind of doubt though, because yeah. What else here? Geology. I think we already talked flora and fauna, or vegetation and animals. Okay, interesting. Land use map of Europe with arable. What is arable? I don't know. Farmland, forest, dark green, pasture, light green, and tundra or bogs. In the north, dark yellow. Okay, so this is just the variation of the plantation. Yeah, like that. Okay, and then what about the animals though, which is kind of interesting, pretty much. Okay, here we go. For now, we see what is that? Arctic. Okay, so Arctic one is probably like polar bear or something like that. Boreal. Okay. Atlantic. Yeah. Continental, which is just the main body of Europe, and then Alpine, which is okay, over there. And there is Pannonian or Pamnorian. I don't know what that says. It's a bit too small for me, but alright. And then there is Mediterranean, okay. Macaronesian, Stepic, and then Black Sea and Anatolian. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's Anatolian, right? Or Anatolian or something. I don't know. It's too small for me to read anyway. So yeah, there's that. That's oh, what's this? Oh, is that bison? Yeah, once roaming the great temperature forests of Eurasia, European bison now live in nature preserves in Białowieża forest on the border between Poland and Belarus. Okay, so that's about to the eastern. Okay, interesting. Bison, it you can't really kind of like see it how it's kind of looking similar to bull or buffalo pretty much, but yeah, but it's I think it's more hairy. So yeah, there's that. What else here? Not gonna mention about that. List of states. Okay. We just glance over these countries over here, pretty much. Okay, there's that. Yeah, like, oh, Russia is over here. Okay, so Russia is pretty much Europe, but is it really though? I don't know. Like, people said that it's not actually Europe. Um, it's actually Asia because it's closer to Asia. I'm not sure. It's also not Asia that it's Europe, but who knows what's the right one. And then there's also the one that says neither of those. But yeah. Anyway, oh, there's more. Okay, symbol and flag. Okay, and then there's these more of them. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, demographic. Here we go. Maybe some kind of population. The population of Europe was estimated to be 742 million according to the 2022 revision of the World Population Prospects. Okay, that's a lot of people. That's like, yeah, almost 20 times more than Australia. Because previously Australia was just barely under 40 million, meaning that it's almost 20 times more, which is, kind of insane. But I guess Asian will have more, but we'll see. Ethnic groups, okay. Migration, okay. So it is interesting as well because in the Australian, we know that some people actually immigrates to Australian. I wonder if it's the same thing in Europe as well, or maybe not. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, there's that language as well. I guess it's just their native language. Religion, okay, whatever. And yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it though, about that, about Europe. Okay, that's interesting. I have never been to Europe. In fact, I've never been to any other countries apart from my own country. So yeah, there's that. Maybe one day if this channel is big enough and it can, make it sufficient, like self-sufficient, then I might actually go to, go have some trip to the outside, I guess, and just do some documentaries pretty much about, like, yeah, just record some videos there, and then, like, make it some kind of like documentary journey or something like that. Or, people call it vlogs, or, video blogs pretty much. But yeah, anyway, that'll be it for this one. It's already been 25 minutes, which is 5 minutes more than I'm supposed to. But all right. Anyway, that's about it. Part two of the continent miniseries. We talk about Europe. Previously, part one we talk about Australia, and then this one we talk about Europe. Next one I kind of forgot. So yeah, just wait until tomorrow, I guess. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, healthy. I will see you again tomorrow with another part or another discussion in 1 year 365. And until then, see ya.